Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're looking at example 2. It says, while looking for a new car battery, consumer website showed the lifespan in years of 30 batteries from 2 different manufacturers. There's brand X, brand Y. So the data here wants us to find the mean set. So find the mean's not too bad, we just add all the numbers together. Alright, and when we do that, I'm not going to do that and show you how to do that, but all you do is you add up the 30 numbers and then you divide by 30. Okay, so I've added up all 30 numbers in the brand X column, ended up adding up to 172.3. I divided that by 30 batteries, and I got 5.7 for 3 repeated years. And then I got the average for Y, doing the same thing, found the mean. These ended up being 171.7 divided by 30, which is 5.72 for repeat. So as you can see, very close. Just around 5.5, or close to 5 years, 9 months, right? Not quite. I mean, you could work this out exactly, but it's about 5.75, close, right? Which would be 3/4 of a year, which would be 9 months. So almost 5 years, 9 months for both sets of batteries. Now the median is a lot more difficult to find because you have to list these from order from least to greatest, greatest to least. So you could do that. You could run out the data pieces and figure out the 15th and 16th number. Or what I'm going to show you now is you can put this data in your calculator. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that now. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear my calculator. So second function plus 7 reset, 1 all RAM, and 2, and that'll be cleared. So to use your graphing technology, you're going to go up to here to stat, S-T-A-T, and the first one is edit, and then we have a list. So this is list 1. So this is where we're going to enter the data from the given information in your chart there. So you just flick back to your page, and we're going to enter these brand X in list 1. Okay? We got 5.1, enter, and we just enter the data, 6.2, 6.0, 6.3, 3.3, 5.8. Okay, and then we're going to go up 7.3, 6.4, 4.8, 7.5, 3.1, 6.4, 6.9, 5.5, 4.1, 5, 4.3, 6.1, 4.7, 5.7, 5.2, 5.7, 5.9, 4.6, and in the last column there, 5, 6, it was 5.0, but you can just put 5, 6.8, 8.1, 8.2, 6.6, and 5.7. So I have my 30 pieces of data in. When you hit enter, it'll say list 130. That's because I haven't put a 30th or a 31st piece of data in, right? So there's my 30th piece of data, which you want to make sure there's 30 there. You can run through the list again. Now, if you wanted to double check, but now you're going to do is you're going to hit stat, and you go hit your right over to calculate, and 1 variant stats. So you click 1, it's already on 1. Just hit enter or 1, and the list we want to look at is list 1. Don't worry about the frequency list. We'll get to that, and just go down to calculate, and you hit enter, and it gives you all these pieces of information. So we only need a little bit right now. So this X with a line over it, that represents the mean. Okay, that represents the mean. So you can write it as U of X, or you can write it as, it's up to you what you want to do for the mean right now. Like we talked about earlier in some of the earlier videos there, if they're X values, then we just use that as a mean, but it's whatever way you want to look at it. That's not a big deal at this point. Okay, but the median is what we're interested in, because we didn't want to order these from least to greatest, greatest to least. So in our calculator, will calculate the median for us. So if we go down here, it says MED is 5.75. So what that means is that there's 30 pieces of data. So what it did was it averaged the 15th and 16th data, which was 5.7 and 5.8. So that is why it's 5.75 for the median. So we can say that. You can say the median for data that would be 5.7 plus 5.8. And again, you didn't have to put in the 5.7, 5.8. This is if you were doing it by hand. You can just tell me what it is based on what the calculator gave us. So we just take the two and average them. So we get 11.5 divided by 2, which is equal to 5.75. So the median for data X. So we'll do the same thing for Y. I won't step you through that again, but I'll put all these pieces of data and we'll get the median for brain Y. So you'll see that I added these in. There's 30 of them again. So this time when I hit stat, I go right again to calc, do one variant stats, but you'll notice you have this, yours will say list 1, you got to change it to list 2. So you just go second function list 2, enter, enter, it'll go calculate and hit enter, and then I get my data for the second list. Alright, so there's the mean, 5.723 repeated, 5.723 repeated. There's the sum of all the pieces of data. So right here, there's the sum, 117.1. This information, we'll talk about this in some videos that are coming up. There's your n is equal to 30. Your minimum value, Q1, which is, we'll talk about that in some future videos. Median, again, happens to be, again, that's just a coincidence, has to be the same middle values of 5.75. And then the max value was 7. So your range was 7, subtract 4.5 to give you 2. So I'll plug those pieces of information in here now. So median is actually the same for Y. Now the mode is what shows up the most. So in the brand X, the mode is equal to 5.7. We have 5.7 showing up, and I went through the list, but it's the one that shows up the most. 5.7 is the only number, only decimal there is showing up more than, showing up 3 times. So that's, remember, so the mode, and that's for obviously the data X. And then the mode for data Y, what shows up the most is, after going through the list, there's only one number that's the mode, and that shows up 3 times, and that's 5.9. We have that showing up 3 times, and we have a few numbers that show up twice. Next thing says, describe how the data in each set is distributed. Describe the similarities and differences between the 2 sets of data. So when you're comparing the data, I mean, you can see that the means are very close. The medians are equal. The modes are really close. But what really sticks out, so there'll be similarities in the data, but what really sticks out is the differences in the data is the range. The range of battery life is 5.1 years for X, and for Y, the highest was 7 and the lowest was 4.5. So that was a 2.5 year difference. So what I noticed is that the ranges are much different from data X and data Y, right? Like your TVs from the 30 TVs for brand X seems to be, you know, you might get a TV that's going to last, or sorry, a battery that's going to last a little longer, but here you have, it seems to be more of a consistency among the ranges where, yeah, you might get 8.2, but you could get lows 3 years out of the battery, right? 3.1, where here it's pretty close to between 7 and 4.5, right? So for me, I would prefer to purchase brand Y because it is more consistent, because there's more consistency in battery life. That range is like everything else is pretty much the same, right? Your average, your median, your mode, and everything. But when it comes to the range, again, you could roll the dice, I guess, and hope to get for an 8-year battery, but also toward a 3, so less consistent with its range of values. So that's it. There's only really 3 questions that go with this section, so I also provide you with a worksheet. Again, just doing mean, median, and mode, getting the handle on that. You can use your calculator or you can do it by hand, and there are the answers right here at the bottom of page 6. Okay. So again, we'll do some more videos with the calculator, but that's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to look at how to create frequency tables and graphs from data and histograms, and we're going to do that again by hand and using the graphing technology, Desmos, and using the calculator to help with some data as well when we need to. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk again soon.